You think you might know what homelessness looks like. The truth will probably surprise you. Join me as I sit down with Drew, the director at Change Lives Christian Center, as we talk about what homelessness looks like on the front lines. Yeah, thanks for joining me, Drew.
Yeah, I'm glad to
Yeah.
be here.
So, you're director at Change Lives Christian Center.
Yeah.
And where's that at?
It's in North Birmingham, right off the Finley Boulevard exit. We're on 16 acres out there.
16. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 10 train tracks right
10
behind.
train tracks. There's an old train drop off, like with a note then dropped off, So yeah, it's a pretty cool little place out there.
About 4 or 5 years ago, before you could see a lot of Teslas around Alabama, I was driving over that bridge to Change Lives Christian Center, and there were probably 3,000 Teslas sitting out in that parking lot right down there. So this is good. And you can't shoot a video out there without a train going by all the time.
About every 15 minutes, you're going to get a train coming by. So, yeah.
It's an interesting area. So, Change Lives Christian Center, one of the partners, maybe as close as a partnership can get between two ministries, and to the point where the founder is involved with the management. And so, we share core visions. And
that's right. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about how, we think of homelessness. What does that look like for you guys? It's a little bit different.
So, for us, homelessness is someone just sleeping on the couch. It's not necessarily saying they don't have somewhere to live, but it's more in the case of they could be homeless from addiction, and they're sleeping at their mom's house, and their mom is just like, you got to go. So now they are homeless. To us, it's very broad. We don't just take people that complete some kind of recovery program. Although that's most of the time that comes with addiction. You're homeless. And so, but we take guys from the street that might have gotten a bad way, and just lost their job or something like that, and just couldn't find a place to land, and so they needed somewhere for 6 months or a year, and we provide that for them. And so it's cool to watch somebody get back up on their feet.
How many people are staying with you?
We have 55 beds.
Yeah. How long can they stay?
So they can stay. So what we have, what I tell them is if they have a goal and they are trying to reach a goal, whether that's financially, whether that's community, whether that's building bridges back with their wives or their moms or families or kids, as long as you're trying to achieve that goal, you can stay as long as you want to. The success rate I see is people that stay from 18 to 24 months is our best success, where they're able to get a house and a car and just, they're able to live life again, be back where they once have been, but they just hadn't found a way to get back.
So you've been at Change Lives Christian Center leading it for about a year or so now. And you actually, 4 or 5 years ago, you were there working. What was it? What were you doing there?
Well, I was just volunteering there. For 2016 and 17. I just cooked about 3 meals every week. I would be there during the day. I had a little nighttime gig, so I was able just to serve there and just just hang out there. And it's got a special place in my heart because that's where I first volunteered.
So what led you there volunteering?
So I went through the Foundry in 2012 and I graduated the Foundry, and I went and worked for a prison ministry for about 2 or 3 years. And so that was 14, 15, and 16. When my mom passed away in 16, and so one of my good friends, Jared, was the program director over there, and Jeff Gilliland was there. And so they were like, man, come hang out with us during the day. Don't just sit at home, And so in 16, when I went over there, I kind of was just going to hang out and kind of just see what it was about, and me being 4 years in recovery at that point, I kind of got to see guys that were where I was at 4 years ago, trying to get to where I was at then, So, and just building relationships, hanging out with them, the guys at CLCC, they're trying to do life, they're not there because they don't want to be there. Sometimes court orders people places, but you don't have to stay there, but they want to stay there because they're trying to better their life. And so it just found a special place in my heart, just being able to help the guys with their finances and just life skills, never being able to open a bank, just having an understanding. And one day I just asked Graham, was the program director. I said, man, hey, can I just start cooking meals here? He was like, heck yeah, man. So, so I did that for a year, for at least 18 months, I know. And don't regret a minute of it. Worked at night and then just did that during the day. And so it was good. It was good, man. That's really where I fell in love at CLCC.
Yeah.
So,
But what is it about, I've seen a bunch of graduates come through and, there are people who have a radical experience here and that inspires them to just give their life to that as well, to giving it to other people. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, so many people played a part in my life when I was here at the Foundry in 2012. And if I look back on it now, I don't know if there's not one person that played a part in my journey in early recovery when I was here and my first year out that I can say I still don't talk to. And so I think for me, it meant so much for the people that have known me now for 13, 14 years and we still talk. For me, just the other day I had a guy come and graduate the Foundry. He moved out about 6 months ago. He got a mortgage. First time he's ever been able to do that. He came back yesterday just to walk in and say, "Hey." So for me, that's the things people did for me. And so I was able to go back to somebody and say, "Hey man, how's it going?" And them telling me I look good, doing good. Keep doing what you're doing, encourage me. And so that's what that's what I try to do with everybody I give back like that because it just. It helps me just as much as it helps them. Yeah. So
it's kind of an example of when someone invests in the Foundry, the return they hope to get out of it is someone leaving and doing what you're doing for them. You're hoping they come back and do it for someone else. That can be a momentum, a wave that really affects a community. I know that I can have a tendency I'm a pretty optimistic person. I can feel pessimistic about the difference that one person can make. I think, I could do that, but what real difference is it going to make?
Yeah.
But then you see someone like you who, the number of people whose life you spoke into who are coming back now and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And those people who did it for you and now you've come back, it can create this wave of, restoration. And God, at the end of the day, God just calls us to be his hands and feet.
That's right.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
That's all you get. Yeah. It's there's nothing else. It's nothing else I'd rather do really. It's I left for a little while to work for a program of Alabama Department of Mental Health, and not that it was a bad experience, but it wasn't as life-giving as this is for me. So I hope to never leave CLCC.
I hope so too. Yeah. So let's deep dive into Change Lives Christian Center.
Okay.
And man, one of my favorite things, and I'll try to pop it on the screen, is those little life cards,
cards,
the life plan. Talk a little bit about life plan and all of it.
Yeah, so the life plan is basically our curriculum at CLCC. It's a little card that fits in their wallet. You got 4 different sections. Each section has 9 different goals that they want to achieve. So just to give you an example, for instance, like get your social security card, get your driver's license, open a bank account, join a church, have a financial plan, have a budget, get a mentor, things that are helping them get back into life and create these goals for themselves, because it makes them feel like they have a purpose. Like, hey, and so once a month they come in and they meet with Nate, who is our program director and counselor, and it's just a requirement to come once a month. You can come more if you want. And so what we do for them is we punch holes every time they achieve something. So they bring that card into Nate. Nate would say, okay, what have we achieved this month? Every time they punch nine holes on their card, we give them a gift card to Walmart.
That's cool.
So, not only are they doing these things to better their life? When they come in and they're like, oh man, I achieved 5 things out of these, all these different segments on here. I've achieved this, and I get a gift card, and and it's making my life better. It's just, yeah, it's really cool to watch and see. I mean, like, like we have everything from getting your GED to starting college back. Some of the things on that life plan are hard to achieve, but I've seen guys do all 36 of those.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool to see a whole car filled up, all stamped out,
So much of my life, I feel like I've spent asking people how to do something, and they give me kind of a vague answer.
Yeah.
And I love that we have something that's very tangible.
Yeah.
It's like, it might sound difficult for some of the things, but the amount of value it adds to their life, it's something as small as joining a church, like just having that kick in the butt to say, I'm just going to go find a community to be a part of. It's little things.
Yeah, little things.
But if you stack up all 36, the chance of having a successful life outside of homelessness and addiction, how valuable is that?
Yeah. Like you said, it's not like when you hand them that card, I mean, some of them are like, oh gosh, I got to do all 36 of these. But what Nate tries to do, and we try to tell him at CLCC, was, okay, pick 3 of these you think you can achieve this month. And if they come back the next month and they're like, okay, I got this, I did that, I joined a church, let's punch them out. So then you pick 3 that you think you can accomplish the next week, and so I think with them making slow progress, I think is good for people like me and that are in recovery. I think people in recovery want to stick everything in the microwave, and they want it to happen overnight like that, and I think that's kind of the world too. But I think when we slow down and back up, I think long-term recovery is it means more when it's taken a period of time to get back to where you want to be from when you were in addiction. So
and I think the story is not told enough of so many people in addiction started as teenagers, and then they become adults who have used basically all their adult life. And so many of the basic tasks are looked at through the lens of using. Like doing a job. Well, if your job doesn't go good, you take your drug of choice. Or if you have to do an interview, well, I'm going to be high at that interview because it calms my nerves. And so all the tasks that are on that punch card that may seem like simple tasks, they're tasks that someone has practically never done before. So having a hand that you can hold during that process and help you get a leg up is so valuable.
They're having to learn, like you said, if they started, people start using when they're teenagers or younger than that. And, they never learned how to endure anxiety or nervousness before walking into an interview or before taking a test or before anything. And so when they get their mind back to a clear, sober mind and in a relationship with God, they still got to learn how to process these things sober-minded, and that creates anxiety because it's something that's very new to them.
We have people from all over. The Foundry uses it as a tool for, if someone doesn't have a living situation after the program, they can go to CLCC and know for sure they've got somewhere to stay or somewhere to keep working on having success after the program. But we have people from Jimmy Hill and all other programs.
All over Jimmy Hill, Fellowship House, Bradford, Teen Challenge. You pretty much name it. As long as we really want the requirement to be 90 days, because like I said, these guys want to be here, and so we feel like if you've committed 90 days to your recovery, then you're ready to try to do your next step. 60% probably at least is from the Foundry, I would say. Probably 65 really, but it's and that's because the Foundry family, so we try to help the guys that choose the Foundry program to come to us first, so.
So one of my favorite things is walking through the front door at CLCC. The attitudes are incredible. Sometimes you go to other, addiction recovery facilities, and for one reason or the other, the attitudes aren't great. People get court ordered or, they got pressured to be there or whatever. And, you got a couple of those guys who are upset in the front lobby about something. That's very common. You would not believe how common that is. And coming to CLCC, it feels like it's a bunch of guys who are working. Like they're ready to work. They're ready to put their life back together.
Yeah,
It's
they
good.
live there, you know. So
Yeah.
so when you come there, just like you take care of your home, I take care of my home. Like they're taking care of their home, and so when I mean clean, when I mean no like abusive language or bullying or it's kind of like a big brotherhood over there. And those guys, they take care of their home. They work to live there. And so if somebody comes there and doesn't want to be there, they usually don't last long. And that's what I mean by everybody there wants to be there. If they don't want to be there, they're usually they're out the door pretty quick.
Yeah.
And that's okay. They're just, they're not, the culture there is just like, hey, everybody's going in the same direction here. So we want everybody to be on the same boat. And so, getting help and asking people to do things around there, it's you don't have to do it much. It's already being done every day, So and the reason they do that is because they pay the $150 a week to live there. That's the program fees. It totals the $600 a month. And I mean that's everything included. That's their meals, that's washing, that's their shower. They get to transportation within a 15-mile radius. And we're able to do that at $600 and be so affordable because of the generosity of volunteers and just people that come and help support us. We never want to have to raise it if we can, and so if the more volunteers we can get to come help us, then the more volunteers are helping these men reach that goal in their life, and so.
Especially volunteers who come and provide meals.
Oh yeah.
Because it does two things. It gives them all a fresh home cooked meal or whatever that looks like, a catered meal, but also gets you there who can speak life into them. And
some of the best conversations are when people just come provide a meal for us, and they come with a group, and we'll walk in there, I'll walk in there, and the guys will be sitting at a table and the volunteers will be sitting right across from me, and just talking. And so they look forward to that sometimes more than the meal, I think. They definitely enjoy the meal, but they look forward more in that conversation with somebody other than me or the people they work with or the people that live there. They like that outside interaction. And they need that. They need that to grow. They need the more people they can meet, I tell them, the better their recovery journeys will be, so.
Yeah. Homelessness is a complicated issue.
Yeah.
And obviously we're not going to tackle the ins and outs of in this podcast. I think what a lot of people say on social media is that, they just need a leg up. If they had a leg up, they could, it's much more complicated than that. Yeah. But what I will say is that for those people who are experiencing homelessness, who all they need is a helping hand, they need help. CLCC is providing that for people.
Yeah.
And it's a great ministry mission that you can support if you believe in the cause of no person should be left behind by society, and that sometimes bad things happen to good people, and we should be there for our brothers and sisters to lift them up and give them a helping hand. And one of the Foundry's tenets in a way is that we don't give a helping hand, we give a handshake. CLCC is totally that. Is we'll give you the spot, we'll give you the room, and then we'll give you every tool that you need to find a life past all this.
That's right.
And part of that is incredible volunteers who join alongside us and do things like meals or speak life or give them the opportunity to talk to someone that's not another dude.
Exactly.
Just another guy. So if you want to get involved with the Change Lives Christian Center and all of the incredible life change happening over there, there are two easy ways to do it. Go to cl-cc.org and you can donate there. And, every donation is a leg up, helping someone equip them with the tools that they need for success. The other way you can get involved is by serving, and you can serve by heading to the VOMO page at the Foundry's website, foundryministries.com/serve. There's a CLCC page on there, and you can sign up directly for a service opportunity, or you can email Brandy, and I'll put her email up in there as well if you would like to come out and cater a meal or cook your own meal, serve, do whatever. If you want to speak, there are lots of ways to be involved, and I can tell you every minute you spend at CLCC does a huge amount of work for men who are looking to put their lives back together. So thank you for joining us for the Lost and Found show. Thank you, Drew, for joining me. And it's good to have, lots of people, success stories
Yeah.
of people at the foundry. They go on to do incredible things, and it's always great when they come back and do the work here.
Yeah.
So it's great to have you
Yeah.
back doing the work here, and CLCC is better for having you here. So we appreciate that.
Appreciate
And,
it.